One of your books presents the new high energy diet recipe guide. Which are the most important guidelines, combinations of foods that create a high energy effect in our bodies and minds?
Well, the high energy diet recipe guide actually was the first book that I ever produced. And I'm still proud of that book, but it didn't explain the principles clearly enough, which is why I eventually wrote 80-10-10. The guidelines that I stressed in the high energy diet were those of food combining, because certain foods digest really well together. Peaches and apricots are both what are known as stone fruit. They have a stone in the middle. They digest really well together, even though they're different food. Bananas and oranges are both fruit, but you put the two together and many people will get sour stomach. Broccoli and watermelon are both plants, but if you eat watermelon and broccoli together, you may have digestive distress, foul gases, diarrhea, who knows. Certain foods don't mix real well together. So the concept in high energy diet was to explain food combining well enough so that people would put together combinations of foods that went well. Typically what does not work is if you take very, very sweet things like dried fruit or bananas and put it with very fatty foods like nuts or seeds. It tastes great, but it will leave you with unsatisfactory digestion, foul gas especially. There are other foods that don't go well together. For instance, if we take starchy foods like bread or pasta and put it with exceptionally sweet things, you'll also tend to see that fermentation and gas result. And so, other than this, the combinations aren't that hard to follow. Typically in a more Western kind of a diet, we find that if you were to eat vegetables and a protein food, or vegetables and a starchy food, that it will digest really well together. But if you put the protein and the starch together, this becomes very heavy, what we call stick to your ribs, hard to digest, often gives you indigestion. And this is the foods that we typically eat. This is the meat and bread. This is the pasta and cheese. But these are the combinations that are most difficult to digest. They tend to hang on to you for a long time. You gain weight with them, and you lose energy as a result. If you increase the digestive effort, you lose a sense of energy.